Hi everybody, I'm Matt. I like to read. Welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm primarily on TikTok as Literarymadmax, but since we don't know if TikTok's gonna stay around, I decided to make it booktube. I'm very excited about it. I've been wanting to do this forever, and this was just kind of like my kick in the pants to finally make one and post videos. I am not super sure that I'm going to be super great at long form content, but I'm very excited to try. And this is my December TBR. I've already posted it to TikTok, but I'm going to talk about them a little bit more in depth. I'm only reading 5-star predictions for December. I'm very excited. I haven't had a super stellar last couple of months of reading, and I'm hoping that this brings up my yearly average. Since I'm filming this a little bit later in December already, I have finished one book already. It is Iron Widow, and it was a 5-star. So I was 1 for 10 out of the books that I was planning on reading, and I'm really excited about it. This is so good. It is the epitome of female rage. We follow Wu Ten, and she is a peasant, and she is trying to get revenge for her sister who was killed in this mech suit. And in this world, they have these mech suits where there is a male pilot and a female pilot, and the female pilot is called a concubine pilot, and she typically dies within a few flights of this mech suit. So she is trying to get revenge on the pilot that killed her sister, and she does. This happens within the first 10% of the book. I wouldn't consider it a spoiler, but she kills him, and then she has to be partnered with this pilot who has this really awful reputation, and also she has a very rich friend from back home who is also trying to help her through this process. It is a very true love triangle, and I would definitely recommend it. If you're looking for true female rage, this is absolutely that girl. It is technically YA, but it does not really stay YA, and I did get an ALC from Libro FM of Heavenly Tyrant. I'm almost done with it, and it is absolutely not YA. This is definitely not a series that should be marketed that way. Metal from Heaven by August Clark was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, so I would really like to get to it before 2025. It is set in the Industrial Revolution, and it is about a girl who was a child laborer and went on strike with a bunch of her friends and family, and is the sole survivor of the retaliation of that strike. And then 10 years later, she's in the process of getting revenge. She is basically a double agent, and it's full of revenge, feminine rage. The comps are Gideon the Ninth and The Princess Bride, both of which I love. This is Sapphic, Revenge, Industrial Revolution. Those are 3 things that I typically really enjoy in a story. I got to go on my V.E. Schwab journey this year. I read 5 of her books so far. I've really enjoyed 4 of them, and I think that this is the series that of what's out so far, I'm going to enjoy the most. There's about 2 roommates, I think, in a university that become enemies later on, and they also become basically superheroes. I think that I'm going to eat this up. It also has been comped to me of the relationship between Victor and Jace in Arcane, and I love the relationship, so very excited for this one. Legendborn by Tracy Dion is a book that people have been screaming, shouting from the rooftops for me to read. I do think I'm going to really enjoy it. It is about a young girl coming into her power at a school, and the 3rd book comes out next year. I know it's not going to be a totally completed series, and that does make me a little nervous. I hate having to wait for a book, but I have high hopes that I am going to adore this one. Empire of Silence has been going around book talk like crazy. It's been spreading like wildfire, and while people say that this is the worst one, they've still been enjoying it and then loving the books that have been coming out later in the series, and I think it sounds so good. The last lines of the description on the back say, "Forced to fight as a gladiator and navigate the intrigues of a foreign planetary court, Hadrian must fight a war he did not start for an empire he does not love against an enemy he will never understand." That sounds so good. I'm really excited about it. I think book 5 comes out in December, so it is definitely a commitment, but I hope that I love it. And I only have the 1st book, which is pretty good for me because I am a known entire series buyer before I even try it, but just dipping my toes in this one. I also have not gotten into ML Wong yet, and I need to. I do think that I am going to love her books, and I have had so much FOMO this one. Blood Over Brighthaven got a traditional publishing release in October, and everyone seems to love it. I have such bad FOMO. The synopsis for this book sounds so good. It sounds right up my alley. The first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever in this standalone dark fantasy from the author of The Sword of Kaigen, which I still haven't read yet, but I will. I think that book is also going to be right up my alley, but I am a little bit more excited for this one. and everyone seems to be loving it. I also love that we're getting more standalone fantasies. Not everything needs to be a 10-book series, so I love that it's a standalone. Like everybody else, I am impatiently waiting for the next book in The Will of the Many. So in the meantime, I am reading the Lycanius trilogy, and I was hoping to finish it this year, but I don't know that that will happen. These books are so thick. I did finish the first one, really enjoyed it. This is the second one, An Echo of Things to Come, and I hope that I remember enough to enjoy it as much as I was enjoying the first one. This is about a young boy who discovers that he has powers, and those powers are putting him in danger, and his friends are trying to help him. Also, his future self returns to his timeline and is trying to help them along. There are a lot of moving pieces, and there are a lot of like people from different time periods interacting with each other, so it is very intricately done, I guess, or maybe a little bit convoluted. Still enjoying it though. And then we have The Mask of Mirrors by Emery Carrick. This has been recommended to me up, down, and sideways on Book Talk, and I'm just very excited for it. Fortune favors the bold, magic favors the liars. That sounds so good. It sounds so intriguing. It is about a con artist and magic that has turned corrupt. I love a con artist. I think that is a trope that I find really fun in fantasy, and I can't wait to try it. It is also a completed trilogy, also a huge plus for me. That's all I have for you today. Let me know what you're reading in December.